Hello and welcome to the first of these DT masterclasses where we are interviewing industry experts in the warehousing space. Here is Simon from Brother. Simon, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So Simon, should we get started? So even though they're part of a critical infrastructure, most warehouses would say that our printers work fine, but in reality, what's the performance issues that show up when they're not running properly?
I think that's a good question, Ross. A lot of companies say our printers are working fine, we've never had any issues, but when we go in or when you ask pertinent questions, you find looking between the gaps they do have issues, and they will always have issues. We've done a number of research pieces where people have found that there's a lot of mislabeling, a lot of poor quality labeling, labels not being able to scan. So although when you ask someone, they say they can't see it, when you really delve down, there is issues always within a warehouse for labeling. It's just the end point, it's a moving part, but at that point is the most important because it's the touch point for the customer and the logistics part of the business.
And what's the knock-on effect in the warehouse from that?
It's cost of labour, cost of returns. Things go out poorly labelled, can't be scanned, they will come back. There's a lot of cost to that. And obviously relabelling within the warehouse, so when you're actually moving around, having to go back to printers to relabel, rescan, there's a lot of costs in that, and it's invisible costs really.
And what are the warning signs people should be looking out for when their printers are starting to fail?
So the main things to look at is your print quality. That's the main performance key. As soon as you see lack of scanning, so bad scanning, we did some research where 57% of businesses have bad scanning of labels on a regular basis, and that's just purely down to print quality and poor maintenance of printers. In
terms of like real terms, is there any idea what that might cost a warehouse?
It's hard to say because obviously everything's different from a cost perspective, but there's an energy cost, there's a logistics cost, and there's a labour cost in all things where it's not actually running at 100%. But again, this is the sort of thing that we'll talk about later in this, is that we do print audits, and during those audits we can uncover that and look at what cost savings can be made on the reliability side of printing.
And on those audits, what's the audience for those? Who would you usually kind of get in touch with at a customer to get those audits underway?
We'd start with the operations manager, and then we'll move around to the IT, and then we'll go into the finance team, and we'd look across the whole board of what's happening within a business. Sometimes people say, well, just look at the end point, the printing piece, but it could be back at the WMS, ERP, and it could be at the order, invoicing, dispatch process. So there's many ways where we can look at a system and see how it's working.
Okay. So a lot of stakeholders, potentially a lot of cost, and it's quite avoidable.
Yeah.
So in quite a challenging environment such as a warehouse, things like printers breaking probably feels quite normal to the people using them, but it's not quite as simple as just working around that, is it?
No, so it sounds normal, the printer's breaking, but it's not. There's no real audit trail. This could be a number of printers that are failing, but no one reports that. So again, there's a lot of hidden issues that no one ever sees. And obviously from a failure point of view, we looked at it in our reports, and it's virtually 23 minutes to just look at a printer that's actually doing something it shouldn't be doing. So if you're getting multiple instances of this per day, the operators are spending a lot of the time looking at printers and why they're failing.
And do you find warehouses are using the wrong printer in the wrong place?
Yeah, we find that the distribution of printers is often not correct for the volume. One could be doing high volume, one could be doing low volume. So they could have an industrial printer doing low volume and a desktop doing high volume, and they could be in the wrong location as well. So, and we've seen printers just in storerooms doing nothing. So distribution of print is always an issue and always worth looking at when looking at productivity of printing within your warehouse.
And that's something you'd look at during the audit?
Again, from an audit perspective, we always look at where the printers are, what the activity is, and then we could even implement our own MDM to see what the printers are doing on a daily basis and report back on those printer activity as well.
And it's something that's almost a commodity like a printer. If it does break, is it cheaper to replace than repair?
It just depends on the age of the printer, and that really there isn't a fine line of a printer's life. We see printers, industrial printers working 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It's more about the performance and how it's been performing, and obviously through age the performance will drop off. There's a point where you have to make a decision. Is the service cost more than the printer? Also, vendors like ourselves, at some point spare parts run out, availability gets reduced, so again servicing it is not as easy, and getting contracts to service that is more difficult. So there is a time point where really you should start looking at replacing your fleet.
And do Brother have kind of like an upgrade program that they look at, where you kind of educate customers on what's going end of life and what the next thing is?
Of course, if we have clients that are using Brother printers within their warehouse, we could have QBRs, we could have reviews of that and talk to them and talk about that replacement and how we do that, how we move from one product set to another, depending on the manufacturing roadmap.
So in a warehouse, the operatives do a lot of walking, and if you add backwards and forwards to printers, that's quite inefficient and therefore quite costly. What can warehouses do about that, and what kind of impact does it have on their performance?
Yeah, so we've looked at a few studies, and sometimes it can be walking between 10 and 30 minutes, an hour, just going to and from printers. So it's an issue, and if you can remove that issue by using mobile devices, then that really will have some cost savings from there. So if we take the worst case scenario, 10 minutes, an hour walking to and from print stations, then if that was 5 operatives, that would be 1,700 hours a year, and that could cost up to £30,000 in 1 year. So there's investment in mobile print, which allows them to print at the pick face or the put away face. They can then print and then directly apply to the product. This also not just saves time, but mislabeling. One of the big mislabeling is you print at a stationary point, you then take the label and then you place it on the wrong product, and that goes straight through the system, added cost, returns, etc. So certainly there's a time saving and a cost saving in applying a more mobile print solution to your warehouse.
At DT, we spend a lot of time designing, installing and troubleshooting wireless networks in the warehousing environment. Adding things like mobile printers, extra clients, has the possibility to affect the wireless. Have you come across that with your customers, and how do you approach that?
Yeah, we certainly see within some warehouses infrastructure, the Wi-Fi isn't adequate, and we look to partners like DT to go around, do a Wi-Fi survey and see what's required, because our printers hang off the same Wi-Fi as the handhelds, so it's got to be stable and they've got to work together from that perspective. So yeah, a stable Wi-Fi infrastructure is required for this scenario.
So same day delivery is now the standard. A lot of people, myself, possibly yourself, we expect it. Where does printing fit into that?
Same day delivery, we look at the research, and over 50% of people expect that now, and if they don't get it, they will move on to another vendor, another supplier. Even 2 days now, it's seen that 62%, I think, anything beyond 2 days will move on to another supplier. So it's critical to get that logistics and warehousing correct, and obviously labelling is the only way to get things in and out of warehousing, and so that has to be working in an efficient manner.
So it's really the labelling can be the difference between missing that cut-off or someone getting the product they've asked for.
Yeah, any delay in getting that final label, and especially if it's a wrong label, it'll leave and it'll never actually reach the customer. So we've got to get the label on time, it's got to be correct before it goes out into that distribution network.
So warehouses they come in all different shapes and sizes and all different kinds of environments, which I guess makes it quite tough to put the right equipment in. So how important is it to work alongside a partner to make sure that the customer is getting exactly what they're required?
It's really important. Obviously, Brother are a channel business, so we work with partners every day to supply our products into the marketplace. And those partners, we look to them to support the customers with a variety of products. It's not just our printer, it's handheld equipment, it's Wi-Fi, it's consumables. So the partner network is vital to go and look at the customer's requirements and then specify that. And again, that could also be done with our print audits with DT, where we can do print audits, but that could also be part of a wider audit, whether it be Wi-Fi, handheld equipment or consumables.
So the partner really has that holistic look at the customer. They're making sure the experience that customer has goes the whole way through, from selecting the right products to making sure they're adopted correctly, they're being used in the manner they should, and they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. So I think probably one of the good things to say is, why Brother in that environment? Why not someone else?
Yeah, so the added value the partner adds is key to that. Obviously, we make reliable, efficient products out in the marketplace. So from our perspective, we're here as a support arm. So you choose Brother, it's a reliable product. Again, here we're showing off 5-year warranty on display. So it's a reliable product, and we've got the full support of the team here. So when you're using us as a vendor, print vendor, you've got the support, the service and the reliability, which you can then pass those benefits onto your customers.
And can the customers try before they buy?
Yep, so we have a proof of concept where we have an engineer that will go out with the product, with the partner. We will deliver the product. It can go on trial for a month, 2 months, however it needs to be, and the customer can see the product in action. And then from there, we can then build the commercials with the partner to deliver that product, complete with a service wrap, and if required, other consumables.
So sustainability is a hot topic in every sector, as well as warehouses. What are Brother doing to help that sustainability mission?
So there's a couple of ways we can do it. We can look at the holistic way about saving energy, so removing those mislabeling, removing the mistransportation of goods, or we can move back to what our products can do around sustainability. So what about the labels, the consumables? There's a couple of elements of that. The labels can be properly eco, recyclable. We can move some customers to lineless, which gives a 40% saving on recycling products. Or maybe we could use another technology like RFID labeling, which also can reduce energy by reducing inventory time and also accuracy of labeling and checking inventory as well.
And that's something that Brother and partners like DTE should really be bringing into the customer conversation, in terms of not just hitting sustainability targets, but also it's ROI, cost savings, and all of that.
Yeah, I think they have to look at it in the round, and it's all about saving energy, being sustainable, and obviously looking at how the operation works and how the print is actually throughputting consumables. That's really the first way we can start looking at actually saving money and being sustainable.
So what's a printing quick win that warehouses could implement that would help advance their sustainability mission?
Okay, so what we can say is energy savings is a big issue. How do we do it? Let's come back to the printing side of it. So newer printers are more efficient. So look at your old estate. They're probably bleeding a lot of energy, where the new printers are a lot more efficient now. And then the other easy win is obviously the consumables. So labels and ribbons. Come back to us or your partner, DT for example, and say, what is the sustainability of my media that you're supplying? And then go back and see if you can improve that, whether it's recycling, biodegradable, or as we mentioned earlier, go to lineless. So yeah, have these discussions and see how you can improve your sustainability on that print side.
So looking ahead, what advice would you give warehouses when they're looking at the future of print in their environment?
So one thing we'd say is a good activity is looking at a full print audit. So I'd say with a partner like DTE, bring them in and go through the print and what you're doing and how it's working. We've been into sites where they've had printers in cupboards, printers not being used, printers on old PCs running old versions of Windows, where the business is running the best technology, but this labelling part is running old technology. And they probably never noticed that. It's in a room gathering dust. So we'd say go out and start looking at where you can get quick wins, and you can see that through the print audit process.
And when should a customer request a print audit, and how should they go about doing that?
This can be done at any time, and again, it's working with a partner like DG to come in and do it. It's done in association with Brother. Our technical support team will come in and support the partner, and then they'll come up with a report after to advise what we think could help the warehouse become more efficient on the print. And that print could be labelling, but as you know, Brother do a lot in business print. We can go back into the office as well and look at what wins we can get from there as well.
And crucially, from an operations point of view in a warehouse, what does that entail on the floor? Like, is it disruptive?
It's not disruptive really. We do need to see the products in operation and what's happening. We need to see actually what's happening in the warehouse, but we can guide through and go with the stakeholders, and we don't have to stop any processes. We probably just need to see the environment they're in, and then we need some checks and balances. What are the print volumes, what they're doing? We can do that offline. We can find out how many labels are being used a day, a month in a certain operation, and we can then start looking at where we can make gains and make it more efficient.
Simon, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing such valuable insights. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you everybody for watching. Please don't forget to visit us on our website where you can subscribe to receive the latest updates, and also follow us on LinkedIn.